Ever feel like your financial software is doing too much or not enough? Quicken promises to simplify both personal and business finances in one place, but can it really replace something as established as QuickBooks? Well, I tested both to find out, but was met with something very unusual, so let me show you. So when comparing any finance tool, especially with QuickBooks and Quicken, I always start with one thing before I ever tested them out, and that's users' feedback, or experience, their reviews, their comments, and that's not the shiny testimonials like the companies like to showcase. I'm talking about the raw, unfiltered feedback from people who've actually used these platforms to manage their finances day to day, because that's where you find out what really works and what doesn't. And naturally, I dove into the negative reviews first. One Quicken home and business user who was in his 80s said that he had to cancel his subscription because the price kept rising, and since he only used it as a digital checkbook, he didn't need the full suite of features. And honestly, that's completely fair. Not every feature is made for everyone, and for someone on a fixed income, I totally get it. But here's the thing, that kind of review is pretty rare. From what I've seen, most Quicken users actually lean in the opposite direction. They find the value pretty overwhelming because it bundles all this personal and business finance tools into this one neat, intuitive system. And I'm not just speculating, they said that, right? One user said that they've been using Quicken Business and Personal since 1989. Yeah, you heard that right, 1989, to track income, expenses, and prepare everything for tax season in under 90 minutes. That's nearly 4 decades of reliability. Another Quicken home and business user praised how it keeps all of their financial data local on their own drive, which in this age of data breach is a breath of fresh air. He loved how it syncs across all of their financial institutions and helps them categorize everything quickly. Now, when I looked into QuickBooks, I wasn't exactly impressed with some other users' experiences. A charity user said that they've had payroll issues for 2 months and still couldn't get any help. Each employee's bank details had to be entered manually every week because the payment file wouldn't download. And it didn't stop there either. There were plenty of other issues. They ran into issues with the tax code notifications, holiday pay, and pension integrations. So I mean, for a platform this big, that seems like a lot of stress for any organization to deal with, right? Another QuickBooks user said that it became this playground for scammers. Apparently, the platform made it easy for fraudsters to send fake invoices, and when the buyer disputed the payment, QuickBooks sided with the buyer without investigation. No seller protection, zero accountability. It's stories like that that make you realize how important it is to pick the right tool, especially if you're managing a small business or side hustle. But when I got started with the actual features, that's when things got even more interesting with this Quicken for business versus Quicken in comparison for personal. So with Quicken in general, you're not just getting this one-size-fits-all financial app. You're getting a platform that's tailored specifically to people who want both personal and business finances under control without feeling like they're using this full-blown accounting system. So let's start with their business and personal solutions. It's built to help you make smarter business decisions while managing your personal money. It's like having two powerful tools in one, but they talk to each other when you need them to. And then there's the classic business and personal product. This one is a gem. It lets you keep all your personal and business finances just completely separate until the moment you actually just want to connect the dots and link things up. It's perfect for anyone running a small business or freelancing on the side who doesn't want to log into 5 different apps just to see where the money is going. Setting up your account is also super easy. You tell Quicken where you bank or invest, and it pulls in your transactions, giving you a clear snapshot of your spending. And that setup is what lays the groundwork for tax reporting, budgeting, and investment analysis, which are all really important and are all based on that data. And speaking of spending as well, Quicken does a killer job categorizing transactions automatically. Swipe your card at a grocery store, it tags it under food. Pay your rent, it files it accordingly. Sure, it might get it wrong once in a while, but changing it takes 2 seconds, and the more you use it, the smarter it gets over time. And unlike QuickBooks, which focuses mostly on just business cash flow, Quicken helps you manage just life in general. It sets like reminders for bills and expected income, so you know what is coming before it happens. It can even project future account balances, which is a huge help when you're trying to avoid overdraft fees or late charges. Then there's QuickPay and CheckPay, both built right into the app. QuickPay lets you pay bills online directly from your bank, while CheckPay sends a physical check to your payee if needed. So for someone who wants one platform to do it all, that is huge. But That's not even all. Budgeting in Quicken is also seamless. Once your accounts and categories are set up, Quicken shows you if you're already on track to overspending in real time. It's not just a spreadsheet, it's a dynamic tool that gives you constant feedback. And that kind of insight helps you spend smarter. And if you're like me and you hate being chained to your desk, Quicken does work on mobile and web. So I can be at a coffee shop and still check my net worth. I can check my upcoming bills or even make a payment. Everything syncs and it just works. And for my fellow crypto investors, I was able to track all of my cryptocurrencies, stock options, and even able to set decimal precision for my crypto portfolios. QuickBooks doesn't even come close there. Quicken lets me view real-time quotes, set up RSUs, and monitor investment partnerships all within the same platform. Here's the thing though, QuickBooks by itself has always been business focused. That's its strength. But that also makes it overwhelming for smaller operations. Unless you're running payroll for a team of 100 and need advanced tax logic, it can feel like using a bulldozer to plant a flower. Quicken, on the other hand, is just smoother. It doesn't drown you in dashboards, it just gets to the point. And the two big things that sealed the deal for me, affordability and peace of mind. QuickBooks is pretty expensive. Most of its bells and whistles go unused by freelancers or part-time business owners or people who just don't need everything. So why pay for what you don't like really need or use, right? So just remember that the user who said that scammers who abused QuickBooks' invoice system and then there was this zero seller protection. So yeah, I don't play with that. I can't really risk being a victim of that kind of thing. So comparing Quicken and QuickBooks for small business, I think it's obvious that Quicken really keeps it personal, and in this case, that's a good thing for me. Now look, no software is perfect, and if I'm being honest, Quicken does have its quirks. If you're someone who thrives on cloud-based apps that update automatically across every device the second you blink, you might find that Quicken's syncing is a little slower than expected. It works well, don't get me wrong, but it's not instant magic like some newer platforms. But honestly, that trade-off is kind of worth it for me, because with Quicken, I know my data is backed up locally, and I can still sync it across my phone and web app when I need to. So I get control and convenience. Plus, I got used to the workflow, and it just became second nature over time. So any learning curve that I faced in the beginning was over after a few days. All right, so what is this all going to cost, right? That's one of the important things. So this is where Quicken really pulls ahead in the Quicken Business versus QuickBooks battle. QuickBooks comes with a higher price tag, more complex tools, and honestly, you're paying for features you may never use. Quicken, on the other hand, is way more affordable, and it gives you everything you need to manage personal and business finances in one app. So whether you're tracking rent payments, running a side hustle, or just trying to stay on top of bills and investments, it's a value-packed option. So check the link in the description of this video to see the current pricing and take advantage of any discounts or promos they're running. And if you're still weighing QuickBooks versus Quicken, here's what it really comes down to. Quicken gives you the control, the clarity, and the simplicity you need without overwhelming you. And unless you're running a complex business with payroll, QuickBooks might be giving you more headache than help. So check the link in the description of this video to get started with our special discount and coupon.